What if I told you that you could become truly unbreakable? I'm not just talking about being physically strong. I mean mentally, invincible. Well, today we're going to unpack the secrets of a samurai from 400 years ago who figured it out. And his ancient methods, they're the key to building real, undeniable strength right now. Let's dive in. I mean, really think about it for a second. You probably know someone like this, someone who just never seems to break, no matter what. Pressure at work, a personal crisis, you name it. They're calm, they're focused, while everyone else is scrambling and making excuses. It honestly looks like a superpower. But here's the secret. It's not. It's a skill. And that skill was perfected by this man, Miyamoto Musashi. We're talking about a legendary Japanese swordsman who fought in over 60 life-or-death duels and never lost a single one. But here's the twist, the part that changes everything. His strategy wasn't about adding more motivation or finding the right life hack. It was all about subtraction. He built his incredible strength by systematically getting rid of every single thing that made him weak. Okay, so how does a 400-year-old philosophy actually work today? Well, to figure that out, let's look at a modern story. Let's meet Lucas. He's a 32-year-old engineer, and when we first meet him, he's just drifting, living his life completely on autopilot, in a state of quiet desperation. So check this out. This is where Lucas started, reactive, anxious, weak. And this is where he ended up, calm, present, and strong. Now that journey from one side to the other, it wasn't an accident, and it wasn't magic. It was a deliberate, step-by-step process of elimination. And it all started from a place that I bet a lot of us can recognize. I mean, does any of this ring a bell? Lucas was trapped in that classic cycle of making big promises to himself and then nothing. He'd swear he'd work out, then cancel. He'd start a new diet on Monday only to break it by Wednesday. And at work, the second the pressure was on, he would just freeze up. He was always on the back foot, always reacting to life instead of taking charge. And then, of course, it all came crashing down. During a huge high-stakes meeting, Lucas had a full-blown panic attack, right there, in front of his boss. It was totally humiliating. When he saw a doctor, the diagnosis was just blunt. His mind wasn't trained. His brain's alarm system was basically broken. It couldn't tell the difference between actual life-threatening danger and just, normal discomfort. And that was his wake-up call.
So, at his lowest point, Lucas stumbles upon Musashi's writings, and he latches on to this first fundamental principle. You don't build strength by adding things. You build it by removing your weaknesses. Let's see how he did it.
So this first principle is a real game changer. Musashi's point was this: if your strength depends on perfect conditions, you're not actually strong. You're fragile. If you can only work out at your specific gym, with your specific playlist, after your special pre-workout, you've already lost. True strength is being able to show up and perform. Anytime. Anywhere. No excuses. Lucas put this into practice immediately. He picked one simple thing, 20 push-ups. But the rule he set was absolute, every single day, no matter what. No gym required, no perfect time of day, no I don't feel ready. If he was traveling for work, he did them in his hotel room. When he got the flu, he struggled through 5. But he never, ever did 0. See, he wasn't really building muscle yet. He was destroying excuses. So, after about 40 days of this, his body was getting stronger, for sure, but his mind, it was still a chaotic mess. That's when he moved on to the next principle, Heishoshin, or the still mind. And the concept is kind of wild. Your inner state, your mind, should be exactly the same whether you're in a life-or-death battle or just calmly drinking some tea. So how on earth do you achieve that? Well, Musashi's answer is brilliantly simple. You don't try to crush your fear. You don't try to suppress your anxiety. Instead, you just train your mind not to react to it. You observe the feeling, that racing heart, the sweaty palms, and you just let it be there without judging it. Eventually, you become someone who doesn't need to react.
All right, so Lucas has been training his body. He's been training his mind. But practice is one thing. The real world is another. And on day 105, the universe decided it was time for the final exam. He walked straight into a situation that would have completely shattered the old Lucas.
He gets called into an emergency meeting and is told, point blank, the company's making cuts, you're being fired. Just imagine that feeling for a second. The floor just drops out from under you, right? The shock, the instant spiral into panic. But for the new Lucas, something different happened. In that moment, he had developed what Musashi called fudoshin,
the unshaken mind. He felt that initial jolt of shock, he recognized the physical feeling of fear starting to rise, and then nothing. He didn't spiral, he didn't panic, he was simply present. He just saw the situation for what it was. Musashi has this incredible way of putting it. He says, a tree is quiet, but not because of the absence of wind. It is quiet because its roots are deep. Lucas's roots? Those were 105 days of doing the work. 105 days of non-negotiable push-ups. 105 days of not reacting. So when the storm finally hit, he didn't break. And the real-world results, they speak for themselves. While his colleagues, who also got laid off, were understandably paralyzed by panic, Lucas was calm and immediately started taking action. And just look at the outcome. Within 30 days, he had 3 job offers and landed a 40% raise. His colleagues? Many were still unemployed 3 months later. It's just a stunning example of the power of a trained mind. But here's the thing. The new job, the bigger salary, that was just a side effect. It was a bonus. The real transformation was much, much deeper. Lucas was now on the true path to mastery. You can literally see his progression laid out here. It started at rock bottom with that panic attack. By day 40, he's building the still mind. Day 105, he achieves the unshaken mind. Then at 6 months, he's practicing something called sutemi, which is about abandoning your ego and just focusing on the process, not the results. And then at the 1-year mark, he reaches the final stage. He reaches a state called kenzen ichi. It translates to the sword and zen are one. What that really means is that there's no more separation. The practice isn't something you do anymore. It's simply who you are. You don't try to be disciplined any more than you try to breathe. It just happens. And this is where it all clicks into place. People started asking him, how do you have so much discipline? And his answer really gets to the core of Musashi's entire philosophy. He'd just say, I have no discipline. I've just eliminated the parts of me that wanted to give up. Do you see that shift? It's not a constant battle of willpower anymore. It's just his identity. And that brings us right here, to the end. The story of Lucas isn't just a cool story. It's a map, and it lays a choice right at your feet. At this point, the question isn't about some legendary samurai from centuries ago. We have the knowledge. We understand the principles. The real question is about you, right here, right now. Why aren't you doing it? The path is simple. It's uncomfortable, for sure, but it's not impossible. So, your own path to strength, it begins right now, with one single act of elimination. So I'll just leave you with this question. Look at your life. What is the one excuse, the one dependency, the one weakness you are going to choose to eliminate starting today?